and a 1 and a 2 and welcome to Bobacast, everybody. I apologize, we have been gone for a long time. Just lots of stuff going on in our lives, but we are back this week, and I'm happy to talk and be able to talk about our week and our stuff. I am Dan T from Twisted Banana Productions, and with me as always is my friend Nathan. How are you today, sir?
Good.
You're having your usual milk tea, are you?
Yes.
Don't they call it black milk tea? Traditional black or something? I heard it was just called black milk tea.
Well, it probably is just plain black tea with something in it. I had no idea.
Okay. Yeah, I'm drinking a Thai iced tea, which is extremely sweet and orange. And it goes with the Boba as well, being an orange tea. Very sweet, very delicious. I actually had one on Wednesday also, because I ran by our usual location. So,
did you notice the restructure?
Restructure of what?
Lolly Cup. It looks different. They changed the counters. Or tops are different. It's white.
Right. I did notice the new countertops. Yeah.
Yeah, they remodeled it.
Anything this week of interest in the world of pop culture, computers, Facebook? Anything that you found this week that you've been watching or keeping up with?
Rip Torn passing away.
Yes.
I saw that a couple of days ago, and it's so sad. Like, oh my goodness.
How old is he?
I don't know. I would have to look at 80 something. No. I don't know. All I remember is him in Men in Black and stuff. I'm oh. I feel sad.
Yeah, he was the if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball guy there.
Yeah. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
He was, always played kind of the grumpy old man, but he had that kind of voice. It's just, I can't do it, but.
He's another version of Walter Matthau.
Yeah,
Walter Matthau, grumpy old man.
Old guy. He was cool though. I enjoyed hearing him talk about whatever and it's sad. The first thing I heard, since his first name is Rip, I was like, well, Rip.
Ha 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 ha.
You have to have a sense of humor in these things, because sometimes you're just like, well, that's really sad, but excuse me, but it's sad when someone passes away, regardless of whoever they are, because you see any movies,
No, other than me basically losing all my data and stuff. My server crashed, and I pretty much lost it. Oh.
And that was the server. How many servers do you have, though? That was one of how many?
Well, server-wise, I only have 2.
Okay.
And this one had all my data from, all my photos, family photos from the past 20 years.
You have those backed up somewhere?
Up to the past 2 years. So I lost 2 years of photos, probably.
2 years, okay.
And, I think I have a majority on my Mac, but I think I already deleted the cards, so I might have lost maybe a bunch. But, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to touch the server. I'm just going to rebuild a new one and start recovering my data from my old server, which I still have stored. But, yeah, my photos will be just unsorted. So I'll be all clustered.
Well, it's sad when we lose our data, too. That can be tough sometimes and difficult, but I remember I lost a PlayStation memory card once that had 80 hours of Final Fantasy on it or something. I remember that was disastrous. And you ever heard about photos? You ever heard Jim Gaffigan's joke where he talks about he's just like, all we're gonna do is, he goes, I have more photos of my kids than my dad ever looked at me. And the whole joke is that he has so many photos. We're just gonna have computers filled with photos. It's full. Better get another computer. This is my family computer. This is my vacation computer. And
Well, basically, it already is at that. Oh, sorry. So it's called the cloud, but pretty much it's just someone else's computer. but it's somewhere around the world. Data is stored and it's there permanently forever. But another thing I remember hearing in the news, Bruce Campbell and Campbell is in talks for another Evil Dead movie.
I've heard Sam Raimi's even on this. I heard this.
Sam Raimi's on it.
Yeah, and they did the original, so they need to, if they redo it, they can do it with better effects than that first one. Although the first movie was really known for the practical effects that they did do for like almost no budget, and it was kind of interesting.
We'll talk about no budget. It wasn't what's it called? Super Troopers 2 was sent on no budget. They did a GoFundMe and they made the movie.
Yeah, the crowdfunding is pretty powerful. The most video game came out recently. They wanted to raise $300,000 and they raised $5.5 million. Of course,
wow.
Then it took them 5 years to that was Bloodstained just came out, and I've been a Kickstarter backer for that for a long time. Wow. So long. But some projects do finish. Which is I'll segue into some of my stuff. There's a game called Shenmue that was back on the Dreamcast. It's one of those Chinese martial arts kind of things, like, or actually it's a Japanese story, but it's like I must find the man who killed my father kind of revenge type story. But it was one of the first games to incorporate the press A rapidly to not die, press F to pay respects. The kind of quick time events. And so, but Shenmue 3 is currently in production, and they keep screwing over the Kickstarter backers. Like, at first they move it to the Epic Games Store, so you have to sign up for this whole service, and then they're not giving them certain things that they promised earlier, and they're taking stuff out of the game. It's getting worse. I'm glad I didn't back that project, because it was the same thing where they needed like $1 million and they made like $4 million. It's one of those.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And sometimes that's a problem. But yeah, some crowdfunding stuff works really well. Like Bloodstained is a Castlevania style game, and it is just amazing. And we waited 5 years, but it was worth it. It's one of those few times. That and Freedom Planet, games that were created but were really worth it. I have been watching new anime, and there's a lot of new stuff. The one called Fire Force. It's about firemen, but there's people. It's about people who burst into flames and they become demons. And these firefighters are like mystical firefighters. They go in. They actually have a priest lady who prays over them, and they go and they fight the demons, almost like an exorcism by fire. But the demons are also made of fire, so they're literally fighting fire with fire. But these people are like pyromancers, and they can control fire, so they can kill the demons. One episode, and they've already had some crazy battles as all the demons. Is really cool. And then they were advertising that recently. The other one today, there's an anime. They call it Danmachi, is what they abbreviate it, but the U.S. title is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Oh, I saw you. Yeah, I saw that.
It's the second season, and they aired the first episode today, and I will not spoil it, but it had a moment where I as a fan of this show, was so happy that these two characters had this interaction, and it was just I let out a little fanboy screeching. So that was a fun moment. So it looks like it'll be, and there's a war brewing between two people. It's going to be a real cool season, I think.
There's a series I watch on TV on YouTube called Explosive Entertainment. Ever heard of that group?
I have not.
They're the origination of the Choking Hazard card game.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. So there's one called Tony, but it's a purgatory, but it's a guy named Tony, and so it's kind of funny. So that I watched this.
It's only fun,
yeah. But I watched a few other episodes. They seem kind of interesting. So
that's nice. But there's anime. A game came out yesterday. Well, first of all, let's go into the 80s for a bit. We have Stranger Things season 3 is on Netflix. It's great. It's super 80s. I can't really talk about it because it's still new enough where I would spoil it if I mentioned it too much. But right now it's It's really good. Well, the first I could skip the first 3 episodes and totally be fine with it. There's only 8 episodes, but it really does get really good, and it really starts to pick up. But I was just really irritated that the first few episodes were not that interesting. I mean, it's like it's supposed to be really cool. It's supposed to be going, ooh, it's the '80s, but it's just the '80s. Yeah. Although, but speaking also of the '80s, a video game came out. That is called Blazing Chrome, and it came out yesterday. And I had, I had enough time in my evening and then today to I've already mastered the dang thing because it's a Contra style run and gun, they call it.
Oh, okay.
Running, dodging, and shooting. And I'm, when I was 8 years old, everybody else was playing, Super Mario and playing outside and other things, and I was just like, I like the games where I ran and shoot stuff. So so when a new game comes out, and this game is super 80s down to the explosions and the style of the game. It's like 16-bit, emulating the 16-bit Super Nintendo kind of games. But go ahead.
Well, speaking of 80s too, I got back from Croatia a few weeks ago. The first stop we had, the city, there was an 80s museum. But it's basically an apartment that's all 80s stuff, from TV, you name it. And that was pretty interesting, because then once you walk in, there was a arcade cabinet, a main cabinet, basically running the Pac-Man and a bunch of other games. You go inside, there's a Commodore 64, there's a bunch of things in there. I got a bunch of pictures of it too. And my cousin was they basically encourage you to open up cabinets and see all the stuff from the 80s. There was on one of the carts a Walkman with a cassette tape in it. I forgot what was on it, but my cousin listens to it. But that was pretty interesting. Then he pulled out in one of the drawers 80s sunglasses. I have a picture of myself with like in front of a Terminator poster, me with like little glasses. Like, okay, that's 80s.
the aviator sunglasses from
something like that, yeah.
From Predator and maybe Top Gun but yeah, the 80s are kind of coming back. You have shows like Stranger Things and all that. But Blazing Chrome, as I was mentioning, it's just fantastic, really great shooting game. Of course, I've already mastered it, so I got to play expert mode or something to challenge me, I guess. But a lot of fun. The final song in the game, where after you beat it, they play this retro song. You have kind of 80s beat, and it really takes you back a ways. But speaking of what you mentioned, the Croatia trip, if you can take about 5 minutes to just kind of briefly tell people about that trip, because I don't know anything about Croatia myself, and you went there with your family, so maybe you could tell people what that was like.
Well, actually, I was there for 10 days with family. We had a bunch of people in our group. We went all over the place. We went to Zagreb. We flew into Zagreb. That was one of the cities we went to. That was pretty interesting. Pretty much every city we went to, we had a private tour. So the tour guide walking us around, pointing out the historical things and all that stuff. Funny enough, the first 3 all were named Ivana. The second 2 were named Zoran. All the tour guides, and that was kind of interesting.
Why do you all have the same names?
I don't know.
It may be a common thing where we have a lot of Daves and Matthews and common name in Croatia.
Yeah, but then we went to Split, and that was another one of the bigger cities and kind of thing. And if anyone listening to the podcast know what Split is, and is a Game of Thrones fan, Game of Thrones is filmed there. There's 1-2 areas that they filmed it in. So we actually, our tour guide, we went through one of the areas where he filmed it, and actually showed us the pictures. Oh, yeah, that is. So we actually were there. And funny enough, after our tour, we find out there is a Game of Thrones gift shop around the corner from our hotel. Anything, Game of Thrones, shot glasses, mugs, shirts, whatever.
And you can be like, I bought this at the actual place where they film.
Yeah, but that needs to do this. Yeah. The funny thing is, to make it touristy, it says they had a throne in the shop. So buy something, get a picture with the throne. That was funny. Then we across, literally, you walk out the door, turn to the left, and you have a Game of Thrones museum. So we go in there. They have like replica things from the show. They took us on the little tour, mini tour in there. That was so awesome. So I got pictures of them at the head wall, the door and that kind of thing with the show. There was an actual sword, and they actually had it on the floor and everything. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that was one funny thing about that. And
I had a guy this week. I'm getting my passport renewed, and I had a guy take my picture, and he was like, "Dude, you look like Hodor from Game of Thrones." I was like,
wow.
I don't look like Hodor. Well, I mean, I'm kind of fat and pudgy, but I don't really look like Hodor specifically. But it's interesting.
And then finally on our trip, the last 3 days were in Dubrovnik. So we tend to go in through our secondary country to get there, former Bosnia, I think. Yeah. Then we went on a oyster excursion. So they took us out on a boat, then to a barge, and they actually had live oysters and everything, and they popped them up right there. They had mussels. They put it in a barbecuer, fresh, everything. That was so perfect. So that was fun.
What's the weather like there?
It all depends. There was 2 days that were a little bit rainy. We got to one of the locations. I think this is not Dubrovnik, before Dubrovnik, and at Dubrovnik, one of the areas. It was cloudy. It didn't look like it was in the rain. We got our tour guide came with us, so we were start walking towards one of the castles. Then once we get inside, like the castle doors, there's like this tourists everywhere. It's crowded. Like within 1 minute, it starts pouring rain. But that was pretty interesting. And it was kind of hot. Think thicker than Vegas hot. It was that hot. Muggy, but very, very not really humid, but just burning hot. Like you're literally in a desert. But one more thing too, we did on I think the third day. Ever heard of the Ocean Oregon? I don't know what it's called really. It's basically because Croatia is on the oceans, so there's a beach, but it's actually the sidewalk, and there's holes in the sidewalk, and that as the tide goes into the holes, it plays like an organ. I got a video of it too.
That is very unique.
Yeah. So
there's a guy who makes musical instruments out of potatoes. It's like that, where you can poke holes in anything and make sound go through it because of the wind and everything.
There's a lot more things we did. We even did the Blue Cave tour, which you take I
saw pictures of it. Yeah, it's just it looked like they were shining a light on it, but
it's natural light. So you basically take a small tiny dinghy into a small cave, hole. Then it's the lighting from any hole in the rock formation just naturally lights it blue. It was so beautiful. So.
It looked really cool from the pictures.
So that was my trip. So it was fun. 10 days.
I'm glad that you have a family that still, takes you on those trips. Like, hey, let's all get together. Let's go on this trip together. I feel that, my family, we travel around the U.S. sometimes, but we don't really get that. We're all together here in this cool place. Let's go explore. Let's be together here.
You're going on your trip. Then I've been there too. You're going to Italy, right?
It's a work trip to Verona, Italy for various.
Yeah, I've been to Italy too.
Meetings and yeah.
Yeah, but Italy is a very good, interesting place to be. So, but yeah, we do travel every 2 years or so. We'll get a group together and say we're gonna go travel. Since we did this trip with family, like I mentioned to a couple of our friends, I'm still planning to possibly do Japan again next year. But we'll see. We'll see how the year goes and stuff. So. That's my 2 cents. That is
cool. That is not really 2 cents because you're not commenting on anything I said. I know. It sounds a cool trip. I'll talk about my thing. I sort of took a trip. It wasn't really a trip, but actually, I will talk about that later. We're going to take a little break from our own discussion to talk about some new stuff because so far, this podcast so far has been very positive. You and your trips and family, and except for the server and some deaths, but we look on the bright side. We do positive stuff. So now I'm going to make everybody depressed with this news story here. Recently, I don't know if it was last. So we're going to move into our This Week in Stupid category or segment, as we call it, and. There is I don't know if she's a gamer girl. I don't know if she is. I think she plays, well, finger quotes, plays games, But she's just attractive young girl on the internet that, kind of like gets men to follow her. She has 4 million Instagram followers. Her name is Belle Delphine. I doubt that's her real name at all. And well, she says she's a gamer girl, but I really don't know. And she has a clip. I saw a clip on Twitch where she gets in a bathtub, wearing a bathing suit or whatever. Gets in her bath, puts the water in the bath, gets in the bathtub, and then she sits in the bathtub, kind of does little sexy things or whatever to the viewers, so they'll want to watch. And then she takes little glass bottles or whatever, and they're like a big shot glass. You might have a large drink on the rocks on, and she puts the bath water in them and seals them up. Sometimes she even spits into them. And she started selling her bath water on eBay. And I think they call it Gamer Girl Bathwater or whatever. It's got a little pink controller on the top of it. But the problem is that you're wondering, first you think, well, who's going to buy your stupid bathwater? Well, apparently it's sold out in 48 hours. All of her bathwater.
That's kind of gross, but
it's extremely gross.
That's kind of weird.
And people are saying. One person on the internet said, "I fear for what is considered modern masculinity. I fear for masculinity." And we're not talking toxic masculinity or any of this kind of random whatever. We're just talking about who a man is being totally destroyed. Because you have these. It's probably a guy who is really lonely, thinks that donating money to a Twitch streamer online anonymously is going to get him noticed by the girl or whatever. These really dumb people who don't know they're anonymous online people, and they give money to these Twitch streamers, and some of them are probably these incels, these involuntary celibates, these people who are just like, well, no women will sleep with me, so all women are evil, kind of thing. It's like reverse third wave feminism, where it's like, some feminists are like all men are evil, blah blah blah. Well, these who are like all women are evil. But regardless, it's more the lonely people who are lonely and donate money, who will be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this girl's bathwater. I don't know the kind of person who would do that. I think I'm older, so I see right through it. But there's probably somebody who just watches the video and go, dude, she's hot, and just buys it, And I feel I'm scared for those people, because those people exist. And this woman's a bully. I mean, is what she is. She's taking advantage of these men who are, I would call them weak-minded. I really would. So.
Well, this started years and years ago. When eBay was kind of still new? Wasn't there some girl, I'm not sure where, country, whatever, was selling her virginity on eBay?
I think I remember that, yeah.
But what the heck? But that was what, 2002, 2001? I don't know when that happened. That was a long time ago.
Well, there's a thing where it was they were selling absinthe or something, but since you can't sell absinthe, you have to sell a vintage absinthe bottle. And then they just put it in there and they ship it or something, some kind of workaround, But it's literally, and you're thinking that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, it gets worse. Not that we're done with the bathwater girl. She's I think it's $30 for a bathwater thing. An online or a YouTuber named Vito is currently doing live streams where he plays Minecraft. And he bought the bathwater, and he puts the bathwater in a vaping device, and he vapes the bathwater and plays Minecraft. So, at least he's earning YouTube revenue off
My eyes literally rolled all the way around a few times when I heard that. Oh my goodness, that's so retarded.
But hey, if Vito does these live streams and he gets people to donate by doing the live stream, if he makes more than $30 doing that, he's made a profit off the bathwater. So that's kind of funny. Moving on, there is a new trend. You remember when people were eating the Tide Pods?
Yes, I was told they didn't some kids die?
I'm pretty sure someone died.
Yeah, I think some
toxic.
kids actually die. Yeah, some kids actually did die, I think, doing it.
And there's always been these dumb challenges there. I mean, it's everything from the some of them are harmless, some of them aren't. Like you have the try to eat a certain amount of cinnamon, which is
the cinnamon thing. Oh my god, that's like
physically impossible. It's just videos of people going.
Yeah, they're just hurling
for like a whole video. Yeah. And or the drink a gallon of milk in one shot, and you can't because your body rejects the amount.
Yeah, the dairy. That's bad.
Dairy stuff. But and there are remember the people dancing in front of the cars, that Kiki, do you love me kind of thing, where they're dancing in front of the car doors. But anyway, there's all this crazy stuff out there. Well, the new trend now is apparently people are they're going into, like, it all started when a lady went into the ice cream section of the local market.
The licking thing.
You know about this?
It escalated already.
Yeah, well, she goes in and she grabs usually Bluebell ice cream. That's what they use, which is only available it's not really available in California, thank goodness. But it's pretty good ice cream though. I've had it. My family I used to go to Texas and go, "Ooh, I get to have Bluebell ice cream." But now apparently people are opening the lids. They're licking the ice cream or even eating some of it, and then just putting the lid back on, putting it back.
Yeah, it escalated. Didn't you see it? Was it yesterday, day before? It escalated to Taco Bell. Like a worker had a whole stack of the hard shells and licked it, or something. I'm like, seriously?
Go watch the movie Idiocracy. This is happening in our real lives right now. People are stupid and they're amassing, and this is. See, the internet's kind of like creating a mob mentality, but across the world in different locations. Yeah.
Oh, they're the latest one, which is not bad. It's good because you're getting stars involved. The bottle challenge, basically doing a round kick and spinning the bottle cap off of like a water bottle.
Oh right, because Jason Statham started
it. Donnie Yen did one. And then Ryan Reynolds did one, but he didn't really. Yeah, he actually kicked the bottle off the table, so that was a joke. But that's kind of interesting.
That's Ryan Reynolds, though. He's got to be the class clown, right? He's got to do the.
Yeah, he has to do something funny. But like, really, like this is an interesting thing. I want to see where it goes. Like, I want to see someone else like Jackie Chan or Jet Li or maybe Sammo Hung or someone more karate masters kind of thing. And I do not want to see what's his name? What is it? Okay, never mind. You edit that out.
You'll think of it. But just people.
Steven Seagal. I do not want to see Steven Seagal do that.
yeah, see him do that. But so it started with ice cream. People are doing it with Listerine, and both of our an iced tea we both enjoy. Arizona iced tea is being ruined by people spitting into the bottles, and it's just really stupid. And I hope that people stop, But like the Tide Pod thing, eventually someone will have to die. Someone with some horrible disease will do the ice cream lick thing, and then someone will take that ice cream home, and their whole family will die or something, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we have to stop this." Which the thing that made me mad though when I read about it is that the police officers themselves there are some police officers now guarding the frozen food section. They didn't want people, taking the food out of there. And that made me mad because I'm like, people are, especially if it's a dangerous area, people are getting hurt. People are breaking the law, and you are worried about someone. It's easy. Check your food. If there's ice cream missing or it looks a little moist on top, but it's stupid. It's horrible. I hate it.
I already saw a meme about it. It was a picture of an ice cream cabinet over at like a store or whatever, and with a padlock on it, and it says, "Please ask for assistance," and it says parents will understand or something like that.
Yeah, they have to make sure that. They definitely have to make sure that people are safe. But on the other hand, I would take stopping a mass murderer over worrying about if your ice cream. But I really hope this dumb kind of pranking kind of ends, because of this cinnamon challenge and stuff like that, we were just laughing at teenagers, but now it affects all of us. If you're doing something that endangers the lives of other people, that can be very dangerous. But we're going to end on a positive note. Last Bobacast, we talked about anime conventions, and I thought we would briefly mention Anime Expo that happened at Los Angeles last weekend, and I went 3 of the 4 days because I had got really tired after walking almost 30,000 steps in the first day. But I enjoyed my time there. Really enjoyed it. The first day I went, it was pretty typical anime convention. A lot of walking, a lot of stuff. You and I went to the AMV contest. We spent way too much money on food. We did the typical things that we do when we go to a convention. But one of the things that we went to the anime music video contest, and in the contest they had a guy who had been running. I heard later had been running the AMV contest for years, like 10, 15 years, and he retired and moved on, and they hired a much younger team of people, and they're still working out the kinks. They're not quite all there. There's a lot of stuff for them to work on, and so you had the AMVs were okay, but you had like weird AMVs in different categories. Like they had what they call the drama category. For those of you who don't know, an anime music video is when they take anime and music and put it together in a music video. And they have a contest at Anime Expo, and it can run up to 3 hours. It's a little shorter this year, but it's a fun way to spend an evening to watch these cool videos. But the first letdown was at the comedy category, which is by far the most popular, or at least the favorited category, was only 2 videos. And one of them was just Friend Like Me from Aladdin with using Konosuba and Megumin, and it was just not that interesting. The other one, though, was pretty funny. That Mkai video, they did South Park and comedy video. Remember that?
Mr. Garrison.
Yeah.
Mkai, yeah.
That was pretty good. But what I noticed is they got to the drama category. This isn't on the team that did the AMVs. It's on the people that submitted AMVs. If you don't know, drama in a film is what happens when the character has something that they need to accomplish. But there are things in their way that prevent them from accomplishing these things. And they build, we build up the characters so we like them and we want to see them succeed. And so drama is what happens when that character faces various things, pressures and other things that cause them to have to find creative solutions, solve problems, and eventually find a solution to what they're going through. The drama in the film is them triumphing over opposition. So when they're and that's what drama is. It's a push and pull. It's not just all sad or happy. It's different emotions. That's why movies are so great. We want to see that story unfold. Well, drama AMVs, apparently everybody who makes an anime music video thinks that drama is simply, oh, my life sucks, I want to die. So every drama video was just really negative, I mean, the first video in the series was called Make Believe God. So I knew it was going to be bad. You're already saying there's no God, so there's no hope for you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the AMV contest, since me and you have been, this is your 20 years?
It was my 20th year this year. I missed 2014, but it still worked out. So 99 was my first convention. 2019 was my last
okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, because me and you both have been there so many years, and the AMV contests pretty much evolved. And this year, since like you mentioned, there's a new group taking care of it. The past 7-8 years, there's always AMV commercials in between each category. I was looking forward to all those because those were super funny.
But now they just have 3 at the end.
Yeah, but then those two people came on stage says we don't, I know it's their first year, but it says in their words, we didn't have time to get our prequel or pre-show going, so we're going to go right into it. I'm like, okay, because usually they're doing the AMV contest. When you walk in, there's AMVs playing, people are laughing and everything like that. But now, we walk into the area, all we see is an AX logo spinning on the screen. I'm like,
yeah, definitely they lowered their standards, but again, they had an amazing guy running an amazing contest, and now it's like all these new people. They're not quite sure what to do yet. They were awkward on stage. If you ever been to a church and you have like the two like speakers who are like, we're gonna tell you about having. By the way, on Saturday we have our bingo night and blah blah blah. It was like a bad youth pastor trying to figure out what to tell the congregation. It reminded me of going to like a church in Florida, but but they came out and they were really, the stuff they said didn't make sense. You knew it was kind of that they had a few kinks. They had to work out. Maybe next year it'll be better, but they had those horrible drama videos, and they finally get to one that's it's Spirited Away, the Hayao Miyazaki film that won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature.
Did they ruin him
a few years ago? What?
Did they ruin Miyazaki in this thing?
No, they did a great job. Okay. It was a great video they did. It was, the main character, Chihiro, a.k.a. San, going through the various things she goes through in the movie, and they really did a good job. It's called Chihiro in Wonderland. Even the title wasn't super negative. And I was like, that's a drama video. She's overcoming adversity. She's solving problems, like the stink demon, who's not really a stink, if you've seen the movie. And then they had a video about a guy who wants to be a runner. And it was kind of his journey of trying to chase his dreams and all that. And it was in the fun category. But it was clearly a drama video, just in a more positive influence. So they need to know what their categories are and set the clear guidelines. But, and the action, some of the action videos, I wouldn't have even let them into the contest, because some of them are just like, I'm going to take this rock song and then put all of the best action scenes from the anime into one video, and not build the story, not build, just whatever. I don't think they're as good at recognizing AMVs that are quality AMVs. One guy for the comedy category, or the fun category, took the intro to Kaguya-sama Love is War, a series which is really funny. It's a comedic series, but the opening looks like a Bond movie, the way they did it. And this person was going to do an extended opening of their own, and they basically just cut like really boring scenes from the anime in there. And I wouldn't have even put it in the finals. It was just awful. It was boring. We've already seen something like it. It's terrible, and I really didn't care that much. So didn't like the contest very much that year.
I miss the old AMB creators, Brad DeMoss.
Yeah, guys are kind of new. They were video editors first, and then they also did video.
They weren't here this year, but we'll see how next year goes. But
yeah, I enjoyed my time. I have purchased an anime figure that cost $400, and it is it's Hatsune Miku. The idol girl who's a hologram, who she isn't real, but she does concerts. Well, it's a memorial statue, and I think it's gorgeous statue, but it's $400, and I'm 38 right now, and my birthday's in November, so I'll be 39, and this figurine doesn't ship until January of 2021 or December of 2020, one of those two dates. So I pre-order it now before September 9th or whatever, as I'm 38, and when the figurine finally gets shipped to my house, I will be 40. So, wow. so that's something to look forward to in 2 years, almost like a year and 9 months or something like that.
Speaking of collecting, I'm not really into it. My friend didn't really get me into it. I just wanted to prepare for next year.
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops. That's right.
Yeah, I know.
I bought a couple of them at Anime Expo. But I think they're dirt cheap. So I'm just buy them for the fun of it. But I'm not going to go crazy and buy more like really, I'm probably gonna buy it just to make a complete set of 1 or 2 animes and leave it be. You know,
Well, you like Power Rangers, right? So
Yeah.
you would do Power Ranger figures because I'm.
something like that, or I would do what was the other ones? I'm seeing a lot of like Deadpool and Link, and those are pretty interesting ones. I think I saw a Groot somewhere. There might be a Groot Funko Pop somewhere. But that'd be cool. Yeah, I might not. You know, even though money's not a problem, I want to save. So we'll see. You know,
It's important. Don't do what I did. Don't blow $400 on a Hatsune Miku figure. Of course, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna make $400 again. Got a guy who owes me money, so that's another thing. But anyway, why don't we end tonight with a positive comment or a positive thing? This is a quote from Bruce Lee himself. I think it's a pretty famous quote now. It says, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing everything with logic. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass." I wish we could tell that to all of the people who stood in circles when Trump was elected and went, "No!" I wish we could tell that to the crazy young people who are just doing these dumb things, and someone says something and they take offense to everything. Wish we could tell them that if you sit back and you examine things, you can exert power over your life by not letting things get to you and choosing what to do. So I think that's a good message to end on, a good way to talk about, to be positive. So let us all strive to be more positive thinking and less offended people.
Yeah, because a lot of things offend people now. I don't know why, but yeah.
Oh well, this world also sucks, but you have to you gotta develop a thick skin. I think so. So thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been Bobacast. We will try to do these a little more normally. Then we took a long little break, but we had a lot of conventions and travel and things, and so that was Bobacast for this week, and we will see you all later. That's a horrible catchphrase. I got to fix that thing. We have to come up with a catchphrase. That's ridiculous.